Hello, everyone. I was delighted when Backgammon Galaxy uploaded this a couple of weeks ago. This match, which seems so long ago now, back when Andy was doing the fantastic World Series of Backgammon stuff, and we are hopefully seeing a sort of a duplication of that with what Marc is doing. But what Andy did with the broadcast and how he brought it to mainstream TV, it was on Eurosport, and it was just amazing. And I remember just being almost dazzled by, even as a backgammon player, just marveling at how they had managed to make the game so watchable. And so when Marc and his crew uploaded this, I was really happy to see it. I just thought I'd do a video of it. I haven't really got anything planned. But the main thing to say is, I'm going to keep the commentators on in the background, and the commentary is fantastic. We got Falafel, Morton Holm, and John Clark. And hopefully we'll be able to hear some of the comments, because some of the comments they make are going to be a lot better than the ones that I'm going to make. I have put it through XG, and I'm going to give my thoughts on, try and imagine how I would have felt playing either against Gus or against Sander, and how I might have felt then, or how I might have felt now. So let's get into it. Before I do, actually, just in case anyone still wants to donate, to make a small donation, visit the Patreon page. I'll leave it in the description box, or PayPal. I really would appreciate just a token of your appreciation, just to let me know I'm doing the right thing, however small. So let's get into it. Oh, and of course Carter.
We're ready to go. Let's go. Good to go. All right. Good match. Gus. Gambling Gus.
Okay, thank you for that introduction, Carter. And here we go.
And so
Match $10,000. Sander Lylloff playing the yellow.
see how I do. Well, I have to pause it because it's difficult to talk.
Against Gus Hansen.
So I forgot what I was going to say. Okay, so let's carry on. So basically, 3-1 start is normal, and 5-4 isn't a very good roll because you have to strip the mid. But I mean, just the first thing to know that these guys would have been, in 2008 would have been, I don't know, about 28 maybe. But the proficiency with which they move the checkers. Obviously, we know that Sander is, or considered still one of the best players in the world, and Gus has an enormous reputation. You can just see how comfortable they are, and this is what I was going to say. They're just chatting to each other because they obviously know each other really well, and they're friends. So that kind of mitigates the pressure a little bit. But I wanted to say, as far as I was, even when I watched this, it's kind of even a little bit unnerving imagining myself playing against such titans, whether I would be able to, keep my cool, because it definitely matters who you're playing and what kind of sort of persona they're exuding, what vibes they're giving off, and there's a complex interchange between two players on a backgammon board. And I feel that even at this juncture, Gus has got the kind of, he's got the run of Sander. I can't think of the right word, but it's like his reputation is superior, and that he's going to play off that reputation, having already gone into poker and been very successful probably by that stage already. So he exudes such a confidence, and I think Sander is possibly more studious, more analytical, and maybe can be phased a little bit by the bluffy element that there can be even over the backgammon board.
We've lost him from the box, but I'm glad to say we're replacing him.
And so, like a massive double four.
Players. First of all, Mike Falafel, Nathan Zone. Hello, Mike.
I have to say, not that it's really worth much. I wasn't immediately sure how to play this. I would usually just play 2 down like this, but I wasn't 100% sure. And if you look on the panel, wait 1 second while I get there. Yeah, so the best play is to come out and hit and make the 9 point, but it's close. The second best play is only 0.0243 worse. Yeah, so not far away. So,
Okay, thanks, Mike.
and then, you know, basically after this 3-6,
bookmaker extraordinaire.
after this 3-6, so Gus has got a three in his. He's got a checker in his hand, and he's got a 6 to play. And it's like whatever you do, you're in terrible shape. But I have to say that even after the play, the play that I would have made, probably, I would have had a hard time passing this because I just find it difficult to pass because at 5 away, although this is the kind of wrinkle of 5 away, you don't want to take gammonish cubes, but actually because the value of the cube, if you actually only lose a single game, isn't that bad for you. I.e., it's not so bad for you to lose 2 points as opposed to 1. Therefore, there is some uplift even when there are some gammons, as opposed to, let's say, obviously being 4 away, or even in a money game. Yeah, I mean, to some of you it'll look hideous, but to me it's like, well, you know, you can still, if you get hit, you can still anchor on the 22 point. Oops. Yeah, you can still anchor. Who knows what's going to happen? So, yeah, I mean, I've got to sort out my arrows. Where are they? Oop. Let me sort this out. Okay, they seem to be... okay, right, yeah. Okay, yeah. So, yeah. Get hit, make the 22, in the game forever. Who knows what's going to happen? And you can see maybe...
Hey John, nice to be here. And I really love to see these two guys play this speed match because it is really a speed match. I would have difficulties conquering it, but they are.
Maybe you can see still doesn't want to give it up, and gives a little look to Sander to kind of gauge what he thinks about the pass, and just a kind of a read, and maybe gauging from Sander's reaction that the pass was okay. So it's like maybe I'm reading too much into this. Maybe this is just too meta, but I'm getting that Gus kind of thinks or knows that Sander is better. You know, I wasn't in the inner circle, far from it. So I wonder if that's the case, that it was known that Sander was, you know, just more proficient, more studious, especially when Gus had moved to poker. So sorry about this pop-up, it's really annoying. So Sander goes 1-0 up.
You could bet on either player, and I guess most of the money came.
A lot of talk about betting.
Okay, well, Lylloff has indeed taken a 1-0 lead, so his supporters will be delighted. We've sort of missed that first game with the introductions, but Gus is straight back on the attack with a fantastic double six response roll.
And this is why, like, you should always just play dice on checker. There's no reason why there are like 5 or 6 maybe cock rolls. It's not a big deal, but why waste everyone's time and not just play out the roll? Why would you have to re-roll? So it cuts to the same game, 1-0.
Who's gonna beat the other one on the time? You want to do that now? I mean,
Well, Gus is a big favorite,
I
right?
lay 2-1 on Gus. How's that?
Not taken. Gus is gonna win for sure.
Okay, my fellow commentators are very busy betting with each other on this match, and the many dimensions that can be thrown up with a match like this.
Yeah, so interesting that falafel. I'm not sure whether it's kind of to create tension. He says that he favours Gus. Maybe it's genuine. Maybe he just thinks it's the sort of edge of that I was talking about. This kind of swag that Gus exhibits, and it can count. It can count for stuff. So some pretty standard plays, like where they can't pay yet. They just have to. Gus has to play behind with his 5-3, and Sander's just going to wait. So this is all kind of standard.
I'm not giving it 4-1. I'll give.
I'll give you 4-1. You got 4-1.
I have to say I'm too.
Pick 4-1.
I can't even follow that. Who's giving who what odds? I just.
I have a 40-second lead. That's nice.
Meanwhile, coming back to the action, we've got Sander Lylloff leading 1-0 in this 5-point match for $10,000. Exhibition match. First time we've ever had that on the
Yeah, the 6-5. If you what can I say about the 6-5? The 6-5. We're covering his. Yeah, okay. So it looks nice to actually make the 3 and the 2, but then you're going to be stuck next roll for checkers to move. You could get away with rolling small, but you're going to have to break something. I don't know whether it's worth illustrating this or not, but imagine they're there, and then you've got these strip. You've got the strip 7, the mid, and the bar and the mid, and then a lot of your rolls are going to leave shots. So, as much as you want to make the board, I think it's best to just to play 2 down. And I think XG confirms. I'm not going to bother to introduce the. I'm not going to bother to introduce the analysis every time. But there's a couple of key things that are coming up that are really interesting, and I will show the XG. And then, like, I have to say, for what it's worth, even for me, like, I wasn't sure would I be leaving a shot here. Like, I was kind of even a little bit nervous as I was watching this, and then watching this in the cold light of day. Of course, it's obvious that 4-3 here, plus Sander rolls a 4-3, that you're just gonna, of course, play purely with the 2 blocks in board. Gus has got. We just try and change the colour. Well, that didn't work. That wasn't worth it, was it? Okay, so anyway, 2 blocks in board, so no reason not to play purely.
And players in the world, when he more or less quit the game to take up poker.
Still can't hit unless he rolls double 1. 6-3.
But he loves backgammon.
Has to play very simple.
Sometimes he talks about actually preferring backgammon as a game.
And look how this talk.
More exciting, more
Yeah, and
about all the time.
they're just chatting like between them. I could, if I really tried, I could pick up what they were saying, but I think they're just, sort of trying to just, a little bit of banter, a little bit of trying to put each other off. So 6-4, it just plays itself. Like, you could not come out, and but I think because it looks so nice just to come out and make the 4 point, everyone would do that. On a more technical analysis, it's like even when you come out, there aren't that many numbers that attack you here. Like, even when you get pick and passed on, you just come straight back in. So it's not too bad. And then, yeah, you're going to have a checker out here, but you get plenty of return shots even when that one gets hit. So I have to say I don't know why I was like even reticent to do that. Maybe I was.
And I have to say I've been immensely impressed with him. In the
Maybe it's just I'm not very good.
time again, he calls the
Which is
play correctly.
definitely
Before we get the computer feed,
definitely
I don't think
possible. And then you know it's like this thing when Gus started reaching for this checker on the 18. I'm like, what is that really? It must be right to play 18 to 17 if Gus thinks it is. You know, this kind of the factor of thinking your opponent is better than you, and so therefore if they play something then it's likely to be right. And then he takes it back and he's kind of, you know, bluffing a little bit and showing that he's seen the play. But as far as the effect it has on me when I'm watching, it's like, oh, could that be right?
Gus and his playing ability
And
at all.
I agree with that 100%.
it just shows perhaps where I need to develop psychologically, and it shows how if you can pick up yourself and what you're saying to yourself during the game, then perhaps you can start to work on your own confidence. And this just applies to everything, not just backgammon, but so then the fan, and then I was like, this has got to be a cube, this is an easy cube, it's an easy take. But like you can just see that if the guy's on the bar, it's very basic, like you can just get these checkers around without even hitting this man here. And so I mean, I'm not gonna give not giving it away, but Gus doesn't cube, and I'm think maybe he thinks he can get away with missing a small double. Maybe he's
It's just great. He's a great ambassador for the game.
He certainly is.
but I think it's a little bit of that, but I also just think he genuinely didn't think it was a double, and I think that is a simple pure backgammon mistake. And yeah, because you know, if you roll the 5-3 6-2 double 4 and you've given away the cube on 2, you're going to be winning a gammon, and you can't, unless you're playing against a really weak opponent, you can't prevent yourself from that circumstance. You can't allow that circumstance to fall through the gaps. So
I work with him, Morton. The game needs him.
I was more certain, like, yeah, I think he's probably missed a double.
The point is that he enjoys it. And that's the big part about it. He wants to do this,
And then, you know, again, he's doing this thing of looking at other plays, which can get, you know, you can get a reaction from your opponent. But I think it's clear this 5-1, you know, you have to go for it while the opponent's on the bar. Otherwise, it's just going to, you're more likely to have a situation where the guys actually come in, and then you have to either roll a perfect number or leave far more shots.
Up against the killer board.
this can't be bad.
Double 5, it's an absolute killer.
It's a killer.
And before you know it,
And then, yeah, even like, again, I was playing, I mean, I would be playing this match at an 8 or a 9 on Sander's side. I mean, maybe I would have made the play, but I didn't immediately see coming in. For some reason, my hand play was to come down, or I don't know. But then, of course, you're kind of duping the double 1. You're duping the 1 that needs to come in. So only double 1 is going to be good now. And you've got to give yourself a chance to pick up the second checker, because you're going to be playing on most of the time. So I don't know why. Again, I watched this about whenever it came out 10 days ago, and I was getting everything wrong.
It's good for the time.
And then Sander, this is a genuine, I mean, like, I'm a human being, unless I can't read facial expressions. This is this is a genuine phase of inquiry, and this on Gus is just like he's. You can see he's about to receive this genuine inquiry. He's like, "Oh, what are you about to say to me? I'm not kind of posturing here at all." Of course, like behind it, a tiny bit is like an element of needling, but I think Sander's like genuinely wondering why Gus, being such a good player, didn't cube. And also expressing that, well, if he didn't cube, then he can't be that good. You know, that's kind of the implication. So what's really going on here? Like, explain to me, what's your reasoning? And Falafel picks up on it, and I don't. Gus looks a bit kind of taken aback. I'm not sure what he says. But yeah, maybe this is kind of what I was alluding to when Gus wanted to play. You know, he put with the 3-1, where he sort of set it up as if he was going to split. And let's say he had played that move. I would have like asked him, why did you play that move? Because there would have been some residue of doubt in me as to whether it was in fact actually the right play. Even though I couldn't believe, even though I kind of had to trust my own instincts that this cannot be the right play to leave a block there with the 3 and to hit with the 1. That was back with the 3-1 that Gus had a few moves ago. So it just shows, it kind of gives up so much information about how the players perceive each other's abilities. And, you know, Sander looks like a little bit almost like childlike, almost a sort of, you know, what? Wow, like, I don't understand how you can't know that. This just goes on, and Sander wins a gammon and goes 3-0 up, which is. And Sander just seems to be under some pressure, and Gus seems to be a little also under pressure, but also, if it's a bit of a contradiction, he also seems to be, like he always seems to be, just have this general sense of being at ease. And this is maybe why Falafel favours Gus, because he can see that Gus has this residual thing, what it is, je ne sais quoi, whatever it is, just confidence, and that Sander's going to overthink, and the fact that Sander is lower on time, kind of, is testament to that, possibly.
Necessarily the opportunity. Easy double. Gus is not going to screw it up, and of course he doubles immediately.
Okay, now we've already got the computer feed. The computer says
Before 3 to me.
I've got the computer feed.
Oh, I just realised I missed this off I missed this off my XG analysis. Never mind, but that isn't important. So, what's going on? Initially, I thought this was a take, but then I kind of corrected myself and realised that yellow must be stuck down quite a lot in the race. 64, 80, 108, 180, 140, 116, 140 versus 63, 83, 91. So 120, 130. Whoa, only 1 pip. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I know that they confirmed this as a pass, and I probably would have passed because there's this blot on the 2 point. But I still have to admit that at this score, you know, like Gus is 5 away. You know, like even if you lose a gammon, you don't lose the match. Conversely, if you win the game, then you win the match. So I think when you adjust for the 0 gammons and you just have a straight race in this match score, Sander can take really deeply. So whatever it's for what it's worth, I wasn't sure, but I think I was going to be passing in the end. I think it's probably quite a clear pass.
Would let it go.
Yeah, this is a pass.
Okay, brilliant stuff from my co-commentators. The computer confirmed.
Yeah, the computer confirms that John's about to say that it's a pass, and then I must have missed that.
He's within striking distance of the match. If he can get the 2 cube over in a Backgammon situation.
Oh yeah, I must have missed 2 games out. Never mind. So it's classic 5-1. This is a very easy decision for me.
Oh, he's gonna use his 15 seconds. That is clock management.
Yeah, so Sander just basically he's got 15 seconds delayed time, and he's down to 2, and he's going to wait until he's used his delay time, even though he's got no decision, just to have some more thinking time before Gus actually ships the cube. So he's going to just let the clock. Yeah. Now he presses the button, and now Gus cubes.
15 seconds for that one. That was very interesting.
But anyway, yeah, it was kind of cute. But this for me is a very easy decision. It's just like
Very interesting concept.
I wish I could do the maths, but all I know is that
Still, he did the right thing.
you know gammons are basically playing double.
Special score situation. If Sander
That's not quite correct.
and should he get gammon, he's gonna lose the match.
Yeah, so if he does take the cube, we're going to see a blitz.
Yeah, I mean this is an easy pass for me. At any other score, this is like I don't know. For money, this is like post double take equity is probably I don't know 800, 830. So a comfortable take.
Should have put the pressure. Get an opportunity to give
I disagree.
Sander.
I
We can certainly get a bet on that.
Okay, with that, I say there has been no cube errors up until before the double three.
Okay, 4-2 gives his board some teeth.
Meanwhile, there it is.
This is a shot. This is a shot. However he plays it, he's got no choice.
He's so brittle. Look at the brittle.
Yeah, I like that brittle. I mean, he's got 7 checkers on the mid. So, yep, my hand play would be this, but I don't know if I have the balls to just to play it. I don't know balls for what, but because you know, like you're volunteering 2 shots as opposed to just leaving 1. But I just hate this 8-5-8 to 2 play because it's so difficult to cover the 5 point if you get missed. So again, repeating myself, but I don't know if I would have been physically able to make the play. And if we go to yeah, so here I'm going to show you the analysis. I don't know why the board gets smaller when you switch the scene. Give it a second because I've got to scroll off the last position. Yeah, and so those are 2 different plays. 8-5-8-2 is 0.0479 behind. But it's just, as I think I point out in the video, it's just very difficult to cover the 5 point. If you slot it and don't get hit, you're going to have an exact 8. If you roll a 3, then you're probably going to have to break the 8 point to make the 5 point, which you don't really want to do. So, yeah, you know. Let's go back to the match. I think, you know, again, if I was like sitting in Sander's shoes, let's say I'm Sander, and I'm almost like, I don't want Gus to ridicule my play. I mean, I don't want to be thought that I've made a stupid play. Maybe this is just a kind of a personal thing, which, hey ho, I'm admitting it here, but I think there is so much uncertainty in games and in backgammon and in chess that, you know, even if you do have that strong instinct that something's right, you can never be 100% sure. And then just as a side note, just to point out that Falafel would make bets all the time on plays, and even when plays were very close, he would say, no, this play's better, and he would be certain. So that shows either and or a mixture of either confidence or supreme knowledge, or a bit of both. And I think it was a bit of both, really. I think he was prepared to be wrong, and so if you can be prepared to be wrong, then you might well make the experimental play. But for some people, it might not be experimental. It might just be a normal play, just to not have how many checkers on the mid? I'm right in saying 7. Yeah, 7. And look at Sander's face, and Gus put his hands on the board there. You saw he put his hands to his fingers. He could see that was just the natural play, and maybe. And then he does this. Yeah, Morton would come down. By the way, not that it matters either way, but so impressed by Morton's commentary and his knowledge of understanding. Knew that he was a really, really good player. Remember that my friend Raj played him in the Super Jackpot in 2004 at Monte Carlo and lost against him in the final, and it was played in one of the side rooms, kind of where the piano is, if anyone's been to Monte Carlo. And I think I sort of tried to go in, but there were people standing outside the room. The room was so small, it felt wrong to go in. It almost felt like it was a proper final, and it was for a lot of money. So I always knew that Morton was good, but you never know, like, really, until you play with someone. And I've never played with Morton.
Okay, he's happy with a 3.
Yeah, but
this means that he's getting hit back with some all aces and some 5s.
Look, ace is good. It was a very crucial roll, by the way, coming up.
Yeah, so again, this 1-6, I was like, I don't know if I would have come out, because I'm saying, I don't want to give 6s, but now I see that you need to come out. I can't really explain why, other than that you just want to get your back checkers moving. What are you going to do? So if you come down with this one here, you're only going to be able to make it with a 2, really, because, well, you can make it with a 6, but then you'll be leaving a blot on the midpoint. So the natural play, which connects all the checkers, is the one that comes out, and you kind of don't want to leave your checkers split. People talk about keeping your armies together in one place. It's kind of like that. So yeah, again, for what it's worth, I wasn't sure about. I don't know if I would have made the right play. Like, Sander thinks about this for quite a long time. You can see that he's going through a sort of a look forward. He's visualizing what it's gonna look like after, maybe thinking of specific roles. So I noticed this, that I think Sander probably thinks more than Gus does, and Gus kind of just plays, doesn't want to think too much, doesn't want to be seen to think.
We've all seen it.
Look at him.
Great roll.
Okay, superb stuff. Comes in with a 3, hits with a 1.
And just rolls the numbers, just comes in and rolls, doesn't need to think. And then this is where I would have been playing like an 18. I was like, oh, you've got to cube this.
I mean, he stuck 2-3. I mean,
And he just doesn't even really think about it. And I'm like, wait, surely this is a cube. And this is just my complete lack of understanding of these positions, where not only do you have this anchor, but the anchor's high in the board, and there's like there's no checkers here, so that when you come in, if and when you come in, you're going to be able to just play from this anchor. And so we'll see what happens here. We see that he hits again. He hits again and he fans, and I'm stupefied, like, oh well, it can't be, like John's saying, it's got to be an enormous pass, 2 men in the bar. And John even thinks that Gus is saying, I don't know what it is. And my read was when Gus said, I don't know what this is that, well, because he was rolling quickly before, I don't think that was a bluff. I don't think he knows. I think he genuinely is saying that he doesn't know what's going on here. But, you know, on his pattern, in his pattern recognition, in his visualization, this is a cube, but he doesn't know whether it's a take or a pass. For John, obviously, to John's pattern recognition, this is a clear pass, and for mine, it was as well. I mean, I don't know, but we will look at this. This is the thing that I had to. This is the first thing. I mean, I transcribed most of the match, but I put this position in before I transcribed. This is the one I was like, surely, is this a pass? Well, it can't be a big pass. I mean, it can't be a big take. And yeah, sorry, what I should have said in the score. Like, this is like just a score where you know, you don't really want to be taking a gammonish cube. But this is like one of my major weaknesses. And Sander passes, and I'm like, and Falafel is just Falafel is upset. He's actually hurt by, not hurt. That's was the word I was looking for. Disappointed? Not sure. So I'm going to show you the XG analysis of this cube action. So it's still on the 6-3. That's not what I want to show you. But the analysis is going to show what a big take it is. 0.268. It's still a cube, like 0.07. And I think here I was trying to talk about why it's such an easy take with the benefit of the computer analysis. And I was talking about how it's because red checkers are not evenly distributed, so that he doesn't always assume that red is going to hit loose on the 5 point if he can, but he doesn't always roll a number that does that. And even if he does, it's very likely that yellow's just going to be able to bring his checkers in on the 4 point or even on the 1 point, and then have the safety of the 6, 5 and 4 points, the rack, to be able to play from. And it's interesting because although, let's say, half of Gus's games are gammons, and Sander doesn't want to get gammoned, the number of single game wins still makes it very much a good proposition for Sander to take this cube. So, and this is something that Morton and Falafel knew instinctually. One of the key decisions of the match. And then, if we scoot back to it, yeah, I don't know what they said, but Gus is like smiling. I'm not sure. Maybe my read wasn't correct. Maybe Gus knew. And yeah, Sander's kind of thoughtful. You can see maybe it's kind of like going to eat away at him, like, oh, maybe I made the wrong decision. I want to play my best backgammon. I want to play best PR. Whereas I think Gus is like less concerned about PR. He's just he's just got his own way of thinking about things, and he doesn't really care whether the computer or people think he's playing correctly. He just he's got sort of a supreme confidence in his own ability. So I know which position I'd like to be, and that is it's where you want to be. Yeah. So Morton's saying, if you can, I'm not sure if you can hear this. Morton's saying like it was very good that Gus didn't double earlier. In fact, wasn't a double. It wasn't even close. I mean, it's like 0.03. Yeah, I don't think that's the case. John's. Yes, agreed. It's too big to let go against even even if you think the player is a lot worse than you.
He do have to make up his mind fast.
So it's 3-all, and basically it's like, do you cube, do you not? Well, I think in 2-away, you don't want to not cube when you've got market losers. And you've got market losers here, like 2-2, 3-3. The take point is 32. I get confused because the match equity table's changed. I should look this up once and for all, but I know that I believe it's 32. It's either 32 or 30, whatever. It hasn't really affected me too badly over all these years. Let me just check. It's 32, surely. 32. I'm just checking. Yeah, 32.26. Okay. All right, we can breathe easily. So yeah, you don't want to get to a position as red as Gus where next go the guy doesn't have 32%. He's just going to pass, right? So therefore you will have lost your market. And here, yeah, he's got some of those numbers which are likely to lead to that scenario, even though there aren't that many. And again, there are all sorts of considerations. If you're playing a weaker player, then you definitely wouldn't want to cube. Definitely not, because you might first of all, they might not cube you at all, and then if you end up losing the game, then you only lose a point rather than losing the match, and then you've got chances from 2-away, 1-away. Crawford. But
coming from a position where he's leading 3-0, 3-1, and those are positions where you don't want to take cubes. Now all of a sudden at 3-2, now you can take a little more. So I guess that has affected the time.
Yeah, I wasn't. I have to admit, I wasn't sure what Morton was saying, that you can take a little more when you're 2-away. I suppose, yeah, he's just saying the same thing that I was saying about when you're 2-away, that the game gives you the match. Yeah. So okay, it took me a while just to. Yeah. So I agree with that.
Stuff from Morton home. I think what he's actually saying is when you're ahead on the score and you're facing a cube that can
Yeah.
make a single match point in your favour, you can actually take the cube deeper. A lot of people think that it's the other way round, that you can pass lighter, and it's not.
Double 2 is a fantastic roll. I might scooch ahead a little bit. Another cock double 1.
Yeah, we're playing too far.
Another cock dice.
He did not use the doubling cube. He has a tremendous advantage.
Yeah, he's not doubling. I'm not sure. Falafel says he's noticed that he's not doubling, but I'm not sure how he finishes the thought. But anyway, 2 ones to play, and for me, the normal play is just this. Like, no need to risk getting hit back when you got 4 men back. And this again is my instinct. But like, let's say Gus does this over the board against me, I'd be like, oh, maybe this is right. This is because it locks the game out. If you roll something like an ace 5 or a 2-5 or a 2-6, and then when Gus's checker is there, then he can just cover and have a 5 prime. So I won't bother showing the XG feed, but the XG says it's about like a 70, 80. It's quite a big error to hit. And I think you can see with Gus's face, he's like, I shouldn't hit, but I can't. He can't resist. And I don't think,
Another reason as well, Falafel. I think it's
2-6, and like again, I wasn't sure about this. I was like, maybe you need to come out. It's not pretty either way, but yeah, I actually, looking at this, I don't really understand coming down being that good either. I can see that when you come out, you give your opponent 6s and 4s, hits and cover numbers, but now he's got 6s that He's got fewer hit and cover numbers, so the only hit and cover is going to be 6-3, and then 6-4. We'll have to break the 8 point. Yeah, so. But Sander just made this play like instinctually, like he knew it was right, and it is right. I won't bother with the XG feed.
A little bit of time trouble, and he doesn't want to make this.
And then like 15-4, the most beautiful 15-4, 15-4. Like what a absolutely fabulous roll that is to close the 4 point. Yeah. Okay, so this is interesting. So before the 5-3, actually, we should state that now. So what happened? I kind of lost the thread. 6-5. Oh yeah, then Sander managed actually to make the bar here, and now he's made the bar, it's no longer too good to double. So Gus was correctly playing on as too good, but now, I'm gonna have to check this. We'll pull up XG. I believe this is actually okay. I'm not sure what it said. I'm confused. Yeah, I don't know why. I thought it was might be in a double. It's still way too good, even after Sander makes the bar. Let's just go back. And so yeah, I'm just trying to find the position on XG where it becomes a double and a take. So I forget about that little confusion. But here with the 5-3, this is after the roll. So he just played one from the 13 midpoint all the way to the 5 point. He should actually just hit. And it's easy to see why you hit, because you want to stop your opponent rolling a 4-3 or a 4-1 or a 3-1 that's going to make the 5 point. It's going to be far superior for the 3-1, 4-1 and 4-3 to make the 5 point rather than just to, if yellow's on the bar. Yellow's on the bar, so this is the yellow checker here. And then he rolls the 1-3 or 1-4 or 3-1 instead. Red is better off because red isn't facing a made 5 point. So this is just, I think Gus kind of missed. He didn't even look at it. So and Morton spots immediately. 6-1 is yeah. And it duplicates the 4s as well. It gives you some time. So the 6-1 is good. And now I believe Now Morton spots it again. I believe that this, now that Sander has escaped this checker, let's say we don't roll a 4 when we roll a 5-2 as Gus, and we bring 2 checkers down. And then basically what I'm trying to say is that Sander has chances. So it's certainly gone from being you're too good to double equity has just been washed away. And the question is it takeable? And if I was cubed as yellow, I think I would probably take, because I can see that I can win quite a few of the games just by counter priming. Now let's just make sure I'm not. So here I'm showing the position that I was trying to find before on XG, where after the 1-6 it becomes a double for Gus and a take for Sander. And the reason why is that yellow now has some really solid ways of winning. For example, he can roll 4-3, 4-1, 3-1 to make the 5 point. He can also roll a 2 to come up to the 22 point and things like that. So here on the board it's a small double and an even bigger take. The take point again at this score is 32%, and Sander has more than that, so therefore he should take. Yeah. And he rolls this really bad number. You know, maybe Sander would have passed. Who knows? Who knows? And so Gus would have just got away with not having to roll this. So it's clear to just switch.
Yes. This is a clear play.
Okay.
This is a big roll. He's got to come in.
This is a very big roll. But the 4 is a deuce.
Came in.
He came in.
6.
He came in. He came in. He came in.
Good play.
Okay.
Okay, so he didn't pick up. And then double 3 is like a reasonable roll.
Now Sander should be looking at double.
I mean, it's not good. It's good. Well, I don't know. Two.
If he makes the point,
So yeah, this is like to me an easy double now, because now if I roll the 4-1, 4-3, 3-1, unless the guy rolls like a 2-6 or I don't know, double 2 or whatever, he's gonna pass next go. So I would have lost my market. And so, you know, again, I'm just giving my thoughts, not that they really matter. So I would have been able to cube. This is an easy cube for me, and also an easy take. So yeah, it's all on the line, and then it gets interesting. So 6-2 is like, again, fairly easy play. You've got to give yourself a chance of making the 5 point. That's easy to see. All the action is here. All the action is going to be here, and the question is, will Sander be able to make that 5 point, or will Gus be able to escape before he does so?
6-2 by the way by Sander.
So another cock,
Absolutely.
Once
another cock,
Sander makes that 5 point, he's going to be in a demanding position.
4-1. So he has to come up.
Now cruiser roll is coming up. He has to come up.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is where this is kind of the key role of the match, the key play. And Sander rolls a 5-2, and like, so this is my tuppence halfpenny worth. So I'm like, the first play that I want to play is just cleaning up, and then knowing now after all these years of playing that basically it's double match point. You've got to try and win the game, and it doesn't matter how loose it is. I would have seen that you've just got to hit, and so I would have hit with the 2, and then the 5 is like, well, you know, you're going to make the. Why wouldn't you play 14 to 9 rather than play 11 to 6, seeing that you're going to be making a 4 prime. Well, a broken 4 prime anyway, but you're just reducing the block count, and now like 3-6 doesn't hit. So that's the sensible 5 if you play the 2 like that. But what is interesting, is really interesting, is that neither Falafel nor Morton, they don't like that play at all. Even though Gus has got a 4-point board, not a 5-point board or a 6-point board, and Sander's got an anchor, and then Morton's suggestion is to stay back with this checker on the 14 point, and just the suggestion is just to make that and stay back, so that if he rolls like a sort of a medium 5 or 6, then you've got this guy that's going to hit. But the problem is that if he rolls bigger than that, then he's just completely fully escaped. And I know now that you simply cannot allow your opponent to fully escape. Perhaps even when you're facing a gammon save situation, it's just so bad to lose the game. I mean, gammon save, it could possibly be different, but so if he doesn't roll a 5 or a 6, you're very happy that you make that play. But when he rolls a 5 or a 6, you're looking at the other die in like with bated breath, like to see whether it's going to be a big one or a small one. And even when it's a small one, you only get like 11 or 12 shots on it. So I didn't.
I think he should just stay back and make the point and slot.
I was like surprised, because this is one of the few things that Morton got wrong.
It's going to be too crucial. It's going to be too
And he's got 23 seconds, and it's like it always happens that you like these key plays come when you've got like 20 seconds, and Falafel saying he went crazy, and I just this is my last tuppence halfpenny worth before I let you guys go, but I think it's something about the confidence of Gus and the sort of the studiousness of Sander that makes it can tend to make people think that the guy that's confident is the guy that's made the right play. And I've seen this time and time again. And since, you know, Sander quite correctly was sort of agonizing over this, it might have had a knock-on effect on Falafel and Morton, you know, just make them think that he didn't really know what he was playing. You know, admittedly, even though I'm sure that Falafel genuinely thought that the right play was to not to hit, but had the hit been played by someone that exuded more confidence, notwithstanding that Sander is like considered to be one of the best, very best players in the world, then had it been made with more confidence, then maybe they wouldn't have been so dismissive of the play.
This is the thing that Bobby Wachtel sort of like emphasized.
And Morton's sure because he's talking about In the Game to the End, which was written by Bob Wachtel. And Sander's like, even not looking at his face, he's just not confident that he's not confident that he's played the right play. And now after the 2-4, like, you've got to be happy, even with 19 seconds on the clock, that you're going to do it.
Ace, baby.
And
Look at that.
Okay, well, he's going to make the 3-point with the 6.
yeah.
I mean, that's clear, and then I suppose he's just going to safety that blot on the 7-point.
Yeah, I agree with you, John. That's right.
So,
Yeah, I get. So I wasn't. You know, it's close. I've given it away. It's close. You should really. No. Well, let's go. Let's do it. My God, I was getting so excited. Yeah, the audio kind of gets a bit strong in places. So I'm going to click on the 6-3 eventually. I know that. Here we go. I'm scrolling down. And just to show that the computer confirms that the right play is to leave the 7-point slotted, but with the 3, so you make the 3-point with the 6, and with the 3 you play 8-5, giving yourself one extra cover number. Since when you do this on the board, you've got 2s to cover and double 1. This, you've only got 1s, and with 2s, having the extra double 1 gives you one more covering number, and could be better for other reasons as well. But yeah, I'm talking about here how Morton and Falafel were very much against this play, and interesting why they were. Maybe it's just a combination of having made the 5-2 play already, which they thought was wrong, and since they felt that Sander was in time trouble and he was just making wrong decisions. That I was clearer on. Let's go back.
he's going to play against a 5.
He should play with the block.
Yeah, and Morton then changed his mind. It looks so natural, but no one considered the 8-5.
It's a monster 5-4 for Gus Hansen.
And then that was it. Basically, Gus rolls a 5-4, and I think that here, you're thinking about the 4. There's a blot here, but I think even though it leaves more shots, you want to come closer. Let's say you pick this man up, and then the guy comes in, then it's far more difficult to actually bring your men round when yellow has come in, and if you stay on this 18 point here. So I didn't look at this in too much detail, but I would have made Gus's play.
Absolutely, I didn't like that idea because Gus had 2 checkers. They were
Yeah, and they're still going on about it, but they're wrong. It's interesting, very interesting, very interesting.
Okay, 5-2 dances. We've got Gus
And then this is pretty much it, double one, and then that was it. It's over. I mean, I will go back. So it was over. What a great match! I'm just trying to recap a few of the decisions. This is the 6-3. This is the wrong play on the board, or not? Yeah, picking up and playing 7-4, and then just showing a few of the decisions. And I think I linger a bit again on the key one, which was the pass at 3-2 up for Sander. This is Gus's missed cube, which is still an enormous take, of course. And I'm going to get to the big cube blunder. Yeah, and I'm just curious whether to know whether people would also be inclined to pass this. So yeah, let me know in the comments box. Are you passing? Also, patreon.com/the Backgammon Academy. All good stuff. Thank you so much for watching. See you soon.